aimlessly while I do the review. Okay. I think this game is great. I'm really impressed by it. It kind of reminds me of like a cross between Zelda 1 and Zelda 3. Like I said, like a lot of times before. And when you consider that this game was on the Game Boy, the original Game Boy, it is so impressive. Especially graphically, like look at how much detail's in this game. For an 8-bit portable system, that is really impressive. Now, in all fairness, this is the DX version, but still, you know, I'm really glad they made a DX version of this game too, because the colors are really vibrant and they pop a lot, which is really unheard of for an old game like this. The music is, you know, classic Zelda tunes. I think it's great. You know, they were able to play the classic overworld theme, and it sounds basically identical to the theme from Zelda 1. Compared to Zelda 1, I definitely think that this is the better game. It has better gameplay. It's easier, and that's the most important thing. Is that since it's easier, you can explore around a lot more without being too afraid of dying. When you die, you basically just start out at the last place that you came out of a door from. And it gives you a decent amount of hearts to do it. Whereas in Zelda 1, if you die, you start at the beginning of where you started the game from. Which is annoying. So this game definitely encourages exploration. I mean, like most Zelda games, there is a linear way in how you have to beat the dungeons. But, you know, like since it's like a quote-unquote open world game, you can explore around a lot. And, you know, usually you can kind of, I shouldn't say usually, but you can kind of figure out where you need to go just by kind of wandering around and exploring. And that's really how a good non-linear, I shouldn't say non-linear, but open world game, like a Zelda game, should be. Even though you have to beat the dungeons in a specific way, and in order to get to those dungeons, there are specific things that you have to do in order to get to those dungeons. Which leads me to my biggest complaint about the game, is that it is really obtuse. Figuring out what you are supposed to do next is so much of a pain in the ass. Now, it does make some improvements over Zelda 1, in that you can talk to, like, you can call someone on the phone, and, like, he gives you kind of a hint, and, yeah, it actually does help out a little bit. But this is what I would call, like, a Nintendo Power game, where you need to have a walkthrough. They did it intentionally. It was by design. To make the game very obtuse in what you're supposed to do next, and yeah, there are things that you will never be able to figure out on your own. I don't know how anyone could beat this game without a walkthrough or Nintendo Power telling you how to beat it. Most of the dungeons are okay in the beginning, but later on, holy crap, Dungeon 7 is the worst dungeon in this game. It is such a piece of shit. Oh, Gigapanda. Giggle Panda. Thank you so much for the host. I don't know why this thing is telling me this. Thank you for the host, Giggle Panda. Giggle Raid. Hello. How are all of you? You actually caught me in the middle of my little review of this game. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello, Tough Angel Books. Hello, Bubbly. Hello, Buckle Puff. Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of reviewing this game. We're pretty close to beating this game. So I'm just kind of describing some of the things I liked about it and some of the things I didn't like about it. Yeah, like I was saying, like, Dungeon 7 is so crappy. It has multiple floors, which I already hate how Zelda 3 introduced multiple floors in dungeons. It just makes things unnecessarily confusing, and Dungeon 7 in this game is so convoluted. Like, you're wandering around everywhere, and you have to throw a sphere, a boulder, or whatever at some pillars in order to destroy the 4th floor. It is so obtuse. I don't know how anyone can get through that without a guide. But really, other than that, it's such a fantastic game, especially when you consider, you know, when the game came out. This game came out after Zelda 3, but before Ocarina of Time, and it really is a wonderful game. I really like everything about it. You know, the graphics, the enemies, the sounds. I like the world that they created here. It's such a large world, especially for an 8-bit game. You know, a portable 8-bit game. They were able to create this nice world that you can explore, and there's so much to do. I mean, like, in terms of, like, exploration, in terms of mini games, there's, like, one mini game that you can do, but it's really lame, but that's not really the point. And all the items are pretty cool, too. You get, like, a pretty good selection of the usual items. Probably my favorite is the this item right here, the rock feather, which allows you to jump. I think this adds so much to the gameplay, being able to jump in a Zelda game. I've always wanted that. In a 2D game, it really adds a lot, I think. The only thing with the items is that, and this is just because of the nature of the Game Boy only having 2 buttons, you have to constantly change items by going into the start menu and then selecting the items there. And it's kind of weird how, like, the sword itself is also an item, because, like, you know, they want you to equip lots of different kinds of items. But you end up going into the start menu a lot to change your items. But that's a consequence of it being on the Game Boy only having 2 buttons. So I understand it, but yeah, it does get annoying. Other than that, I think it's fantastic. I like it more than Zelda 1. But yeah, it's not as good as Zelda 3. Don't see why the shield was one of those things that wasn't a passive, always equipped. Yeah, I agree. I do want to mention the shield, and thank you for bringing that up, Neil. Yeah, they did improve the shield in this game, because now the shield, previously in Zelda 1, 2, and 3, actually, the shield was an item that was always equipped, and it only worked against ranged attacks, but in this game, it'll actually work against melee attacks, so I like that. And I also like how when you have it held, you're moving at full speed, unlike Minish Cap, where you're slower. So it has that going for it, but yeah, the fact that it's that you have to equip it and use it means that it takes up an item slot, and you know, that's a problem in a game where you only have 2 buttons to deal with anyway. So it's kind of like a mixed bag with the shield, but you know, honestly, I end up not using it too often, but you know, it's nice to have. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. This magic rod is amazing. I love this too.